down the empty lane, and a dull ache, not unlike a mild dyspepsia, was born in her at the thought that barely an hour separated her from a meeting with an unwelcome suitor. She had not the smallest desire to put on a gracious smile for another simpering buffoon, and she dearly hoped, yea, even prayed, that the road would remain devoid of travellers. Indeed, should a rain-weakened bridge collapse beneath the conveyance bearing the man, and the whole lot fall into the foaming water, never to be seen again, she would not grieve overmuch. The man was a stranger to her, a faceless entity, identifiable only by a name she had very recently been given, Silas Chambers. What kind of man would he prove to be? Ariane glanced about the modest parlour, and wondered how he would view her home, and if his disdain would be apparent. Though the cottage was as fine as any in the town, the Spartan furnishings readily conveyed a lack of wealth. Had it not been for the fact that the dwelling was offered with the position, her father would have been hard-pressed to provide such lodging. Self-consciously, she smoothed the worn velvet of her plum-hued gown, hoping its outdated style would not be noticed. Her pride had been stung too often beneath the haughty arrogance of mincing fops, who saw themselves well above her and felt no compulsion to keep the fact a secret. Her lack of dowry weighed poorly against their heavy purses. She longed to demonstrate to those opinionated oafs that she was as well-schooled and certainly better mannered than they. But such an attempt would have brought harsh disapproval from her father. Avery Fleming thought it unnecessary and imprudent for any member of the fairer sex to be tutored beyond the basics of womanly duties, and certainly not in ciphering and the written word. If not for her mother's inheritance and stubborn insistence, such a luxury of schooling would not have been bestowed upon the daughter. Angela Fleming had carefully held back a part of her own wealth to see the matter done, and Avery could say naught, considering he had himself, during the course of their marriage, appropriated the major part of it to support his own widely varied indulgences. Although the same opportunity had been lavishly expended upon Farrell, after less than a year at an advanced seminary, the lad had declared an intense dislike for the pompous preaching and unjust disciplines of a bunch of stodgy old men, and resigned as a man of letters to return home and learn the trade of his father, whatever that might be. Ariane's mind prowled like a foraging hind through the long months since her mother's death, recalling the many hours she had spent alone while her father and brother played at cards or drank with some of the local townsmen, or, when they travelled to Workington, with the sailors and tars who came to the port. In the absence of Angela's careful rationing, the family's meagre wealth dwindled rapidly away, and with its loss came the ever-constant tightening of purse strings, which in turn brought an increasing pressure from her father to wed. The critical juncture in this process came after the wounding of her brother in a viciously one-sided duel that left his right arm hanging at his side with the elbow fused at an odd angle, and the hand beneath it weak and nearly useless. From then on, Avery appeared beset by a fever to find her a rich husband. A sudden anger nipped at the heels of Ariane's memory, and her thoughts quickened with its challenge. "Now there is one I'd like to meet," she hissed hotly to the room at large. "Christopher Seaton. Yankee, blackguard, gambler, roue, liar." Whatever name she seized upon seemed to fit. Indeed, a few titles that dwelt upon his lineage flitted through her mind, and she savoured the taste of them. Aye, to meet that one face to face. She imagined close-set eyes and a thin, crooked nose, stiff, straight hair sticking out from beneath the brim of a tricorn, narrow, pinched lips twisted in a cruel leer that revealed small, yellowed teeth. A wart at the point of a receding chin completed her creation. The vision was sweet as she finished and set it atop a thin and bony frame. Oh, if she could just meet that one! Though she might not best him in a brawl, she could certainly flay his composure to her satisfaction.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.